WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's Tuesday night, and across North Mississippi, that means the people many of you elected are hard at work in city chambers across the area.
We begin in Columbus, where council members are moving through an agenda that includes the fairgrounds, the school board, and the police department. On the agenda tonight, 4 officers are leaving the force, whittling down an already understaffed department. However, Chief Oscar Lewis says 3 of the hires never completed the police academy. Lewis says the trainees never patrolled city streets. A 4th officer resigned after an investigation. Lewis says he cannot comment further because it's a personnel issue. CPD now has about 45 officers on the street, well below the nearly 70 the department has budgeted. Lewis believes one reason the number of officers goes up and down is because some don't complete the academy, but are considered a part of the force.
Meanwhile, a new law enforcement partnership could bring crime results in Lowndes County. In an update to a story we first brought you last week, the Columbus Lowndes Narcotics Task Force becomes official today. Attorney General Jim Hood's office signs off on the agreement between the Columbus Police Department and Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. The 2 agencies will each have law enforcement officers on that task force. Now the commander will interview CPD officers who want to be a part of the narcotics enforcement team. 2 policemen will be selected. Mayor Robert Smith calls it, quote, a new day in public safety, and thanked county leaders for their help in restarting the task force. Well, marijuana, heroin, cocaine. Deputies in the Chickasaw County Narcotics Unit say they see it all.
Now the drug of choice they're seeing more than ever is methamphetamine. WCBI's Selena Schaefer visits Sheriff James Myers and joins us live in the studio with more on this spike in meth. Selena?
Joey, Andrea, law enforcement tell me meth doesn't discriminate. You can find users from every socioeconomic background, rich or poor, and every neighborhood. Now, deputies are trying to find a way to keep a new form of meth off the streets.
They'll actually pull their own hair out. Their skin, they actually think they see things on their skin, and they'll actually take a knife to their arm or their leg and or pull their own teeth. I mean, it's just it's a terrible, terrible addictive drug.
Over 12.3 million Americans aged 12 and older have tried meth at least once. Ice, or the purest form of meth, is the most common drug in Chickasaw County.
Right now, across the line, it just seems like the drug of choice for young folks and old right now is methamphetamine.
Sheriff Jim Myers says deputies are cracking down and making arrests. The addiction rate is so high, Myers says all it takes is trying it once to get hooked.
It's a form of speed. It just keeps them going. You know, we've arrested folks that have been up for 6-7 days straight.
This past weekend alone, 8 people were arrested and charged with possession and/or distribution of methamphetamine.
Sheriff Myers says that the biggest problem they faced in Mississippi were meth labs, but now they're seeing more and more smuggling across state lines.
We would average anywhere from 1-2 meth labs a month, but now we're seeing an influx of it coming from major distributors from out of state. And it's what's hitting the street now.
Myers says users need medical attention.
We want to try to get somebody help if they're addicted to meth, but if you're selling it, we're going to catch you.
Myers says that working with the public and other agencies to help bust meth dealers and users is key. Joey, back to you.
All right, thanks, Selena, for that live report. Law enforcement officers and educators tell us teens as young as 14 and 15 are using dangerous drugs like meth. That's why some schools are looking at ways to keep narcotics off campus. The Houston School District is implementing a new rule in the fall. All students who participate in extracurricular activities at the high school will be open to drug testing at any time. The testing is random, and administrators say the purpose is to keep kids from using.
Peer pressure is tough for children, our students at especially high school age, and this gives them a reason to say no. When they're asked or given that opportunity, they can say, I may get drug tested and I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to lose my place on the football team or in the chorus group or whatever they're involved in.
Cook says the school district also has a reasonable suspicion policy where they're permitted to drug test any student at any given time, given probable suspicion. For local residents who want to serve in public office, there's less than 1 month to qualify, and making more people qualified today for mayor. So far, incumbent Bob Boykin faces James Harlan and former Mayor Dorothy Baker Hines also entering the race. The deadline for candidates to qualify is March 3rd.
And another candidate qualifies in the Columbus mayoral election. Former newspaper journalist Garthia Halbert will run as the only Republican in the race so far. Incumbent Mayor Robert Smith and former Columbus Police Chief Sylvain McQueen have also signed up to run. Earlier, we mentioned the list of items that Columbus City Council members are reviewing. Coming up tonight at 10, WCBI's Jory Talley will have the latest on possible changes at the fairgrounds. And in Starkville, WCBI's Quentin Smith will find out why aldermen are talking about a landfill, plus possible economic benefits in Aberdeen. All those details are coming up tonight on WCBI News at 10.
Starkville Church is still divided as one side voices its concerns today. Leaders supporting the pastor at Second Baptist Church held a press conference. They don't want church funds paying for a lawyer for the trustees, and they will file a civil lawsuit. The trustees and their supporters say they're trying to get back nearly $500,000 the church spent on a construction project. We'll hear from both sides coming up at 10. An Amory woman will spend a decade in jail for the 2014 killing of her husband. 23-year-old Brianna Beeks Morgan admitted she stabbed her husband, Anthony, to death during a fight back in October 2014. The two argued at their Moore Manor apartment before she struck the fatal blows. Brianna at the time said she used the knife in self-defense. District Attorney John Weddle says she received the 10-year sentence after agreeing to a manslaughter plea.
A Clay County driver escaped serious injury after a porch post went through his windshield. Witnesses tell us it appears the driver had a medical episode before leaving Highway 50 West. It was just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. The driver went off the road, hit a wooden support post on a home, went airborne through the yard, and came to a stop at the edge of the woods. A post went through the windshield and in between the two front passenger seats. State troopers are investigating the crash. The unidentified driver did complain of some leg pain there at the scene. Time now for a first look at our forecast on this Tuesday. Here's meteorologist Alex Puckett for that. Alex?
Well, storms ongoing across parts of the area right now. Again, here's the wide view of things. Tornado watch in effect south of our viewing area for Neshoba for Neshoba County. That'll go until 7 p.m. this evening, but we're watching some storms developing further to the north. One that has a severe thunderstorm warning is including portions of Attala, Winston, and Choctaw County, although this is now becoming solely a Winston County issue. Not as impressive as it was when they issued this warning. Still capable of producing maybe hail up to the size of a quarter. Now, this warning does not include Louisville or anything like that. It's going to stay to the west of that area. Also watching some storms off to the north in the Tupelo area, actually just south of Tupelo. One storm in particular, southeast, including southeastern Pontotoc County, moving into southwestern Lowndes County, capable of producing hail up to the size of about a penny. Now, coming up, I'll keep you up to date on these storms and get you my full 7-day forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex. It is that time of year. State legislators are working on the budget, and that includes deciding funding for Mississippi's colleges and universities. University of Mississippi Chancellor Jeffrey Vitter shared details today in Columbus about his vision for the future of the university, and the chancellor says he's hoping for strong lawmaker support for higher ed.
Well, we're working with our really great friends in the legislature to focus on higher education, and we really hope that we come through this legislative season with strong support for education. It's challenging, we know, because of revenue estimates, and that's a difficulty we're dealing with.
Vitter spoke to the Columbus Rotary Club as part of its series on IHL.
A MUW educator is nominated for the IHL Diversity Award. The W selected Kimon Simmons as this year's Diversity Educator of the Year. Each university nominates a candidate for the statewide honor. Simmons is the coordinator of student engagement. She works to provide continuity to students of all backgrounds.
Students will come to a university from a lot of different areas, and so in-state and out-of-state and international and domestic students, and so we will have to provide an understanding of who is here in our campus and allow them to learn from each other.
Simmons will be recognized along with each university nominee at the IHL board meeting on February 16th.
A little power can go a long way. One school district is using their power to save big. We'll show you how coming up next. You're watching WCBI News at 6.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
A local school district will soon get new air conditioning units, energy efficient lights, and other improvements that will reduce costs to taxpayers.
Yeah, as WCBI's Allie Martin reports, it's part of a public-private partnership to enhance the learning environment for years to come.
This 9th grade class at Nettleton High School uses Chromebooks during instruction time. Hopefully all of the units are powered down after class, but there's no way to tell. But once the campus is outfitted with energy-efficient infrastructure, any Chromebook, AC unit, or other electronic device can be automatically shut off.
We'll be able to power it back up in the morning before the students are here, so it'll save on energy that way also.
The Nettleton School District is partnering with Schneider Electric on an energy savings performance contract. The project allows the district to replace HVAC units. Interior and exterior lighting will be upgraded with LED technology. Water fixtures throughout the district will be replaced and upgraded, and IT power management software will be installed. The district is taking out a 16-year loan to finance the $2.2 million project, but savings over that same time will come to $1.9 million. Superintendent Michael Cates says there's no need for a tax increase under the agreement.
We knew we had to do it. Our units are HVAC units are 20-year-old. We were either going to have to flip the bill totally, or we could look for a way that we could recover some of that cost. And that's what we've done with Schneider, is be able to recover the majority of the cost through a savings.
Nettleton High School's principal says the project benefits everyone.
I'm very excited about it, and mainly I'm excited because it's an investment not only in our buildings, but it is an investment in our students. It's going to provide better lighting, of course, more comfort for our students in the classroom because of the new heating and cooling units.
Construction work should start next month. It's hoped that the entire energy-efficient project should be complete in time for the start of the next school year. In Nettleton, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Now, the project will also provide jobs for many people living nearby who will be working at the school on the energy-efficient upgrades.
Temperatures across our area sitting in the 60s right now, as a few showers and thunderstorms ongoing. I'll have details on where those are and map out your 7-day forecast. That coming up on the other side of the break.
Your First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Puckett.
Starting out with a live look at Doppler radar showing what things are doing right now. Thank goodness, as of this moment, no active watches or warnings for the viewing area. We are watching a couple of strong storms in Choctaw and Lee counties. There we go, starting to zoom in there. Particularly this one here has produced some hail up to about quarter size, moving through southern Pontotoc, southwestern Lee, and then extreme northeastern Chickasaw County. That'll be moving towards Okolona here within the next few minutes. Temperatures right now sitting in the 60s pretty much area-wide, 61 Columbus, 64 in Amory, 64 also in Tupelo. Tupelo. Live look from our Alpha Insurance sky cams. Those shows the sun is set, and hopefully with that, these storms will lose a bit of their energy. But again, the sun is set. Still watching some of those clouds back off to our south. For the rest of your evening, we could see those isolated thunderstorms continuing through about the 9 p.m. hour. I think they'll wrap up, though, before midnight. Temperatures cooling off below the 60-degree mark before we hit the midnight hour. And again, we'll be dealing with that cloud cover through the rest of the evening as well. Cold front pushes through for your Wednesday, making things nice and cool for your Thursday. Might squeak out a shower on Wednesday as this front pushes through. Here's Futurecast, again showing things as that cold front pushes in. We'll see the cloud cover increase with it, and again, maybe a stray shower as this thing pushes through, but I think for the most part, we will stay dry as this moves through. A couple of stray showers on Wednesday, but more spots than not staying dry. And then back behind this front, cooler air pushes in, making a nice, sunny, and comfortable end to the work week. So here's what you can expect for the next 7 days. We can get that 7-day forecast to pop up here. May have to step off screen to get it to work. There we go. Here's what we're dealing with the next 7 days. A bit breezy on Wednesday with that chance for a stray shower. Cooler for your Thursday with highs in the low 50s. And very nice to round out the work week on Friday with lots of sunshines and highs in the low 60s. Andrea?
All right, Alex, thanks a lot. We preview Mississippi State's matchup with Auburn in men's basketball, plus more history for the women's team in Starkville. That's coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Outside of Florida's dismantling of Kentucky, Mississippi State's comeback win over Tennessee was the most impressive win of the weekend in men's college basketball in the SEC. But there was a little time to celebrate as the Bulldogs take a trip on the plains for tonight's contest with the Tigers. Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl spoke of that win by MSU over the Vols and what they will have to focus on tonight.
It's the fourth time now that Mississippi State has come back from 10 or more down to win. Really a great win for them because Tennessee, I think, went to Mississippi State probably as hot as anybody was in the league, playing as well as anybody in the league, and they did it without I.J. Reddy. And I think he's really a really important piece. The fact that they could win without him, I think, tells you a lot about how good, Lamar Peters is as a freshman point guard. What a tough cover he is. Weatherspoon is a pro, and he didn't score until about the 10-minute mark in the second half. And again, they just managed to, to hang in there without him. It was really, really impressive.
The game tips off at 8 p.m. 3 SEC games already underway, by the way. Alabama, South Carolina, and then Florida and LSU, Kentucky. Those both just tipped off. So if you like your SEC hoops, they'll be on the family of ESPN networks coming up this evening. Staying with college basketball, Hail State Hoops making more history today as the Bulldogs are now ranked number 3 in the newest women's college basketball poll from the coaches poll. Bulldogs 23-1 overall, 9-1 in the SEC. They hopped over Baylor in the newest top 25. MSU remains behind the unanimous number 1 UConn and number 2 Maryland. Bulldogs will host Vanderbilt this Thursday at Humphrey Coliseum. To the gridiron, in Alabama will be looking for a new offensive coordinator after being the OC for just a little over a month with the Crimson Tide. Steve Sarkisian has left Tuscaloosa to be the new offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. Sark was the OC for Nick Saban during the national championship game and was expected to be the offensive coordinator for the Tide in the 2017 season. He joined the Crimson Tide in September of 2016 as an offensive analyst after being fired from being the head coach at USC in 2015. More signings from the area today. We were back at New Albany earlier this morning. Eli Jackson signed to continue his baseball career at Blue Mountain College. Now, Jackson's done a little bit of everything for the Bulldogs in sports. He played football, also played a little basketball, but he's going to take to the Diamond and take the short trip up to Blue Mountain to play the sport that he loves.
The campus and the atmosphere is just electric. Everybody there is so nice and peaceful. A lot of great people there, a lot of good hearts there, and I'm just excited to go.
Eli is an exceptionally hard worker. He's one of those guys that tends to set goals for themselves and won't stop until he reaches those goals. And this was one of those. He's one of the kids that you kind of want to model your team after. He's going to work on his own. He's going to do things individually to make himself better, and that's what you want all your players to do.
Congratulations to Eli. We mentioned some other coaching changes at Alabama. For Mississippi State, 2 moves today. They're going to get the new quarterbacks coach, Brett Elliott. This has not been confirmed yet by Mississippi State, but it's going to happen. So Brett Elliott, your new quarterbacks coach, and DJ Looney, a guy who actually anchored an end zone with me one time, way back in 2013, was at Georgia the last few years. He's going to be the new tight ends coach at Mississippi State. They're going to reposition Scott Salek within the coaching department.
See what happens when you anchor with this guy?
I know.
Great
right?
things happen when you don't get hiccups. Maybe. I don't know.
Good to know. We'll be right back.
Got this photograph in from southern Pontotoc County of some hail that fell. Thankfully, those storms have weakened quite a bit this evening, and then next 7 days we'll see a cool down behind us front.
Start drying out, right?
Yeah.